This courtroom got heated fast. Judge Fleischer is facing off with 19-year-old Mr. Wiggins, who's accused of breaking his bond by threatening witnesses, all from behind bars. Prosecutors say Wiggins didn't just make one call, he allegedly used the PIN codes of 3 other inmates to place multiple unauthorized calls, targeting the complaining witness and her mother. During these calls, deputies claim he made chilling threats like, "This is how you take care of things," and even suggested he'd commit more crimes to pay for a private lawyer. The judge wasted no time. Phone privileges revoked immediately. Judge Fleischer called Wiggins a continuing threat to the public and ordered a full review of every recorded call and transcript. But there's a catch: if the records prove he didn't make new threats, privileges could be restored. Wiggins, however, didn't back down. He argued he had no entertainment in his cell, no TV, no books, but the judge stayed firm, putting public safety first. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as the young defendant shouted and protested, but the judge remained unshaken. This case is a stark reminder of how quickly bond violations can spiral and how seriously the court takes threats from behind bars. Stay tuned, because every call, every transcript, could change the game for Mr. Wiggins.
Time to go play Fortnite. Let's go. Come on. Huh?
Fortnite.
Come on, man. I'm itching to
Give me
go
approach,
play.
Judge.
Whatever happened with Mr. Wiggins?
Mr. Wiggins has some bond conditions to not speak to the complaining witness in an ag assault with a deadly weapon and an ag assault family member. He then went to jail and called her twice and her mom.
I mean, what more can we do? Really?
Take the phone away.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. We'll do it now.
He also called not only under his own name, but he also called under 3 other inmates' names.
Good morning, Mr. Wiggins.
Well,
How's jail?
cool.
It's come to my attention that you are violating the conditions that we set out in this court, flaunting it, and trying to get a hold of the complaining witnesses in these cases where we've told you not to. Go ahead.
Yes, Judge. The deputy called me this morning and said that the defendant has called the complaining witness twice and the mother of the complaining witness as well. The deputy told me that while listening to these phone calls, he heard the defendant say things such as, "This is how you take care of things," and that everybody violates their bond conditions and talks to the complainants in these cases. He also heard the defendant make statements saying that he was going to continue to violate bond, and once he gets out, he was going to hire an attorney, but he had previously learned that the defendant was indigent, and so he took this to mean that the defendant was going to commit other criminal acts to get money to hire.
Please notify the other courts as well that are so that they know as well.
Yes, Judge. I just sent a full email to the felony prosecutor in case the deputy hadn't already alerted her. I just went ahead and did it. The deputy, again, is getting the transcripts for these calls, and that the defendant has been using 3 separate inmates' spin codes. That would be Jermaine Brown, Mark Diaz, and Dennis Compton.
Your privileges are hereby revoked. You are not allowed to use the jail phone at all from now on. Do you understand? I think that you are continuing to threat to the public even while being in jail. So your privileges to use the phones at all are hereby revoked.
Judge, I just, again,
You just told you.
Not even.
please stop.
So
And I just want to reiterate.
please go ahead.
He's
Yeah.
19. You are taking away his ability to communicate with his family.
But he's making
understand.
additional threats allegedly,
I
you know?
didn't blame
Okay,
anybody.
we're gonna get the records, but
Okay.
until I know that you're not a threat, I mean,
He's typing everything.
every single thing that you say on the phone is recorded.
I know that, so why would I be on it threatening people?
We'll find out. Because I'm gonna ask, could you mind please pulling all the records, getting all the phone calls, and we'll play them out here in court, and we'll see. And if it's not, then I will gladly give you your phone privileges back, but there have deputies that have pinpointed you allegedly, you and using other people's spin numbers to make phone calls, to make continuing threats, and to further criminality. If I don't want you to say anything, that's okay. We're going to find out because I'm going to have them pull all the records, pull all the phone calls, and we'll listen to everything.
Judge, I will also say that the defendant told the complaining witness, this is about the ag assault involving a firearm, that when she got shot, the defendant said that's what happens when you hang out with gangsters.
So pull all that stuff, and all that stuff gets, so we need to figure out how, because it's a first for me as far as doing a revocation of privileges like that. As far as revoking phone privileges for inmates,
As far as I know, it has to be through the court order.
okay. I need to do whatever I can because it's apparently a problem now. So, I guess I'll reach out to administration as well to figure out how, because I mean, it's a first for me.
Judge, just so we're all on the same page, Mr. Wiggins is obviously going back to the jail now. Even before that order is in place, you are instructing him now not to use the phone. So,
Oh.
So I did do it. That sucks, dude.
well, we'll get the tapes and
Get it? We'll
Okay,
see.
good. Okay, but I can't call nobody. Literally nobody. So what? There's no TV in my tank. There's no nothing. What am I supposed to do?
It's jail.
What's the point?
Read a book.
There is no books. I read every book in there.
Yes.
Okay. I can't trust you to use a phone, Mr. Wiggins. I mean, you know what's happening. I have other deputies that have alerted us to what's going on. I can't. That's it. I mean, you got to know when you're in the jail, there are eyes all over you. It's like at a casino. You literally have eyes all over you at all times. You got to know that whatever you're doing is always being looked at.
Stay in bed. That's why I wasn't threatening nobody. I didn't say
he's
any.
typing everything
and then-
that you're saying.
Asking them
I
to pull it.
understand. He's talking about I'm doing illegal things when I get out to hire a lawyer and all these other things. That's stupid. I never said anything about anything illegal. That's just.
The courtroom was thick with tension as Judge Fleischer called the case of 19-year-old Mr. Wiggins. The young man faced serious allegations. He was accused of violating his bond by contacting and threatening witnesses while still in custody. From the moment the case began, it was clear this was not going to be a routine hearing. The charges were alarming, and the courtroom felt the weight of them immediately. Prosecutors detailed a chilling account. They claimed that Wiggins had used the inmate PIN codes of 3 other prisoners, Jermaine Brown, Mark Diaz, and Dennis Compton, to make unauthorized calls from his jail cell. These calls weren't casual conversations. According to the deputies who monitored them, Wiggins had made direct threats to the complaining witness and her mother, using language that suggested not just anger, but a willingness to take action. Phrases like, "This is how you take care of things," and suggestions that he would commit additional crimes upon release to afford a private lawyer, were repeated multiple times. Every word painted a picture of someone who was deliberately trying to intimidate and manipulate the situation. Judge Fleischer listened intently as the details unfolded. He didn't pause for long, but every comment, every allegation, seemed to heighten the tension in the room. When it came time to issue his decision, he moved decisively. Wiggins' phone privileges were revoked immediately. The judge called him a continuing threat to the public and made it clear that there would be a thorough review of all recorded calls and transcripts. While he left the door open for privileges to be restored if the evidence showed innocence, the message was unmistakable: the court would not tolerate any attempts to bypass its orders. Wiggins' reaction was one of frustration and disbelief. He argued that he had been deprived of basic entertainment in his cell, complaining about the lack of TV and books. But his words seemed to carry little weight in the courtroom. The judge repeatedly redirected the focus to public safety, making it clear that no comfort or inconvenience could outweigh the seriousness of the allegations. The young defendant's anger grew, but the courtroom remained steadfast, emphasizing that rules exist for a reason. The prosecution painted a timeline that left little room for doubt. Every unauthorized call, every threatening statement, was accounted for. The deputies provided detailed accounts of what they heard during the calls, emphasizing that these were repeated actions, not isolated incidents. The impression given was of a young man fully aware of the restrictions, yet deliberately attempting to bypass them. Each call, each PIN code used, demonstrated a level of planning and determination that concerned the court deeply. As the hearing progressed, it became clear that this was more than just a bond violation. The court viewed it as an attack on the legal system itself, a challenge to the rules that protect witnesses and ensure safety. The allegations showed a pattern of behavior aimed at controlling or intimidating others, even from behind bars. Wiggins' repeated use of other inmates' PIN codes suggested a calculated effort to evade supervision and continue influencing events outside of his cell. Judge Fleischer's responses were firm and unwavering. He acknowledged Wiggins' complaints about his cell conditions but made it clear that those issues were secondary to the risk he posed. Every action, every decision, and every word was scrutinized with an eye toward public safety. The judge's insistence on reviewing every call and transcript demonstrated the seriousness with which he treated the case. It wasn't enough to take Wiggins at his word. The court needed verification, and the evidence would decide the outcome. Throughout the hearing, the courtroom remained tense. Wiggins' attempts to argue, to defend himself by pointing out inconveniences, were met with the cold reality of the allegations. The prosecution highlighted the potential consequences of witness intimidation and threats from jail, emphasizing that such actions could not be ignored. Every participant in the courtroom could feel the gravity of the situation, the potential for danger, the challenge of maintaining authority, and the stakes involved for all parties. The hearing also underscored the broader implications of bond violations. It wasn't simply about breaking rules, it was about the integrity of the justice system, the protection of witnesses, and the ability of the court to enforce its orders. Wiggins' alleged actions threatened to undermine all of that. The message from Judge Fleischer was clear: attempts to intimidate witnesses or bypass restrictions would have immediate and serious consequences. As the case unfolded, Wiggins' demeanor became more agitated. His complaints about the lack of entertainment in his cell, the frustration of confinement, and the perception of unfair treatment all came to the surface. But the courtroom remained unmoved. The judge focused on the facts, the unauthorized calls, the threats, the deliberate attempts to manipulate the system, and the seriousness of the situation overshadowed any complaints from the defendant. The prosecutor continued to build the case, presenting evidence of multiple calls, transcripts, and statements from deputies who monitored the communication. Each piece reinforced the narrative of calculated behavior and intentional rule-breaking. Wiggins' denial of the allegations and his protests about conditions seemed increasingly irrelevant against the weight of the documented evidence. By the end of the hearing, it was clear that the court would take no chances. Phone privileges were revoked, and every call and transcript would be thoroughly reviewed. The judge emphasized that public safety was the highest priority, and any attempts to intimidate witnesses or violate bond conditions would be met with strict consequences. Wiggins' fate, at that moment, hung in the balance, dependent entirely on the evidence that would soon be examined in detail. This case serves as a stark reminder of the seriousness of bond violations and the lengths to which some individuals may go to manipulate or intimidate others. The courtroom's atmosphere reflected the high stakes, the tension, and the need for accountability. Every call, every transcript, every action from this point forward could dramatically affect the outcome, and the court made it clear that it would leave no stone unturned. The allegations against Wiggins highlighted not just personal misconduct but also the challenges faced by the justice system in maintaining control and protecting the public. Judge Fleischer's decisions underscored the importance of evidence-based rulings, public safety, and strict adherence to rules, even when dealing with a young defendant who may not fully grasp the consequences of his actions. As the hearing concluded, the courtroom remained heavy with the weight of the situation. The judge's order for a full review of all calls ensured that no detail would be overlooked, and that the truth of Wiggins' actions would come to light. For the young defendant, the path forward would be determined not by complaints or arguments, but by the thorough examination of evidence and the court's commitment to justice.